We just watched game one of the NBA Finals. I know y'all watched it. I watched it.
Crazy.
I mean, I think just initially getting into it, Hallie does it again, BD.
What do you expect?
He does it again.
What do you expect? I mean,
watching with my boy Cheese, BD, and I say, Cheese, he ain't about to do it. He about
to do it again, bro.
Oh my God.
Man, it was crazy because they just keep fighting, man. And when Nembhard, I think he airballed the three, Pascal laid it up. It was like, they down one. They just set themselves up. And I mean, Haliburton, that's prime time. That's prime time. Haliburton, he knocking them down. He's Mr. Clutch. He's Mr. Clutch in the playoffs, man. What's your thought on that, Shaun? You watch that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I wanted to kick it to y'all because you've been in those pressure situations. Like when you watching Haliburton, do you feel like he needs to do more in that fourth quarter? Or are you watching him and say, like, where is he at? And then he just pop up, like, man, he just and it's something about too hitting those shots in prior series that it's like, okay, I've been here before. Like when it comes to me, I'm ready. But I'm watching the game. I hear, I'm listening to the broadcast. They're like, your best player has to be better. They ready to dig in and narrative on them, and then boom,
there you go.
Right. Like what do y'all see when y'all watching like the last 6 minutes of that fourth for a star player?
I think in an ideal world, you want to see your star player take over the game. Like you want to see him. The reality is, Hallie not really that dude. Like he that dude as far as like the player that he is. But he not, when I say he not that dude, like he not going to go look to score every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just not his mindset. He looking to get everybody involved. Right. That's how they team play. And so I think when it comes to Hallie, everybody want him to be something that he not. And like, I mean, I got the utmost love and respect for his game, but he not Shai. I think the guy who that is for them is actually Siakam. Like Siakam is when in the high pressure moments, like meat of the game, 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Hallie gonna give you some games because he got the ball and he making the plays and he just get it going. But Siakam is the guy that they go to settle things down, and that's the role that he plays for that team. So I think, yes, in an ideal world, you're always gonna want to see the ball in your best player hands. And what I will say is, can Hallie go get the ball more and get them into more things and be more demonstrative during that window about getting them into things and making the plays? Yes, he could, but
man.
The ball moves.
They don't rock like they don't really rock like that. Like and Dray, me and Dray, we talked about this in the Milwaukee series. I said Indiana not scared of nobody because everybody is green. Everybody got a green light. Nembhard got a green light. Neesmith got a green light. Miles Turner can shoot the ball. Obi Toppins can make play. Like they all have they all got a freedom that's different and they style of play. So for Haliburton, he's trying to unleash that freedom. So you forget about him. And I think that's a sign of a good point guard is you forget that he's controlling the game or trying to control the tempo or recreate a tempo. So then when he do have the ball, you like, oh, he cold. He ain't been in the moment, but he almost like setting it up for the dramatic to live in that moment. And he got big, he like big lights. Right. It's only, I mean, it's just certain players that's like that. Over the history of the league, it's like no matter how big the moment and the lights, especially when you in a situation you down one, you got nothing to lose. Like the lights get bigger and your bravado get bigger, and I think that's especially the type of shots he shoot. Right, the shot he shot against the Knicks, where he went out, dribbled out to the three and shot a three and made it. And now you look at this one, he's just setting the table. And they freedom allow him to kind of be a disguise. So he don't need to push too much. He can be a little bit more aggressive and looking for his offensive game, but the way he operates that offense and the way that they play with freedom, they got other people who make plays. And to your point, Siakam, he's another dude that plays with freedom that you're not really looking at and saying like, damn, man, we got to stop Siakam because he gets a lot of intangibles, offensive rebound putbacks, leak outs, right? Secondary trail, one-on-one ISO pull-ups. So all their stuff is in flow. They're a tough team because they're not scared. And they got offensive firepower.
And everybody eats, B.
Yes.
Man, like I like what you said about him being a disguise, right? Because it's like, this is who he is. I mean, that's honestly why I really liked his game coming out in the draft. Because he is a pass first. That's his personality. That is his mindset. I just, I look at him and I'm like, man, okay, Siakam won the MVP for the Western Conference Finals. Is Siakam that effective without Haliburton? Meaning those hockey assists. We talk about that, right? We had when we played, right, that it was like, how many passes can we get? And it wasn't just a pass it around the perimeter. It was more of just the feel, the energy to the ball. And it's like, when you kicking it ahead, you know this, BD, you was a scorer. It's like, man, you kick it ahead, you get somebody going, somebody kick it ahead to you. You like, oh, all right, cool. He rocking with me. Let's go. Like, and I look at that team. One, they're never out of it. The power of the 3-point shooting. Yeah. You look at their bigs and Miles, Obi Toppin, Siakam, space the floor.
Even Thomas Bryant hit threes.
Yeah. Thomas Bryant hitting corner threes. So I think the adjustments looking at this next game, you look at OKC, they had to take their bigs out because of the the threes that they were giving up. Do they do that the next game? Like they already went smaller, but when Indy goes small, they are big.
Yeah.
Malcolm got 2 offensive boards in the fourth quarter that were big. One he got on, and then another one he scored. Shai didn't box him out, right? And so you just looking at some of those plays, like they're winning on some of those different plays where they have, a bigger lineup when they are small because Miles can stretch, Siakam can stretch. Toppin hit 5 threes, right? He started out a little shaky, but he settled in. Yes, and I was watching, and I'm like, man, Indy, if they could settle into this game, slow down because they play fast, they were still right in striking distance.
The whole time. They were the whole time. Having 19 turnovers in the first half, which is insane. They were still only down 10 points. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, yo, they turning the ball over like this. They got 47 points, and they've created 19 turnovers. That's not good. Like you're not capitalizing on none of that. And I think they ended up with 9. Like they had 9. They had 9. They had 9 points off those turnovers in the first half, and that's so it never really affected OKC. I mean, Indiana the way it should have. And I think when I look at what they just did, Nesmith 10 points, Siakam 19 points, Miles Turner 15 points, Nembhard 14 points, Haliburton 14 points, Obi Toppin 17 points.
Everybody
that game reminds me of Game 1, 2015 NBA Finals, and Doc, you were our leading scorer. You had 20, and all the rest of us 17, 19, 17, 14, 15. Steph ain't had a crazy game. Clay ain't had a crazy game. And we won the game that way, which set a tone for us in that series, and they just did that, and regardless of all the things that happened. And so, when you speak on OKC taking their bigs out, my only thing with that would be they had an 8-point lead when they took their bigs out the game.
Absolutely.
And like, you're not gonna, out three Indiana. That's not what OKC does. Like, and so, when I watched the end of that game, like, yes, players make plays, but Shaun and both me and Doc, we had the pleasure of having, when you get in that moment, Steve coming through. And Steve is a magician in those moments. The bigger the moment, the better Steve gets. And this Mark Daigneault first NBA Finals game.
Yep.
This ain't Rick Carlisle first rodeo. Rick Carlisle a champion.
That's right.
And Rick Carlisle made the subs that he needed to make. He pulled Miles Turner at 3:07 and put Obi Toppin in.
That's right.
He playing chess. And Mark Daigneault pulled his bigs out and thought that and went super small. And to your point, you said even when they small, they still pretty
bigger than you. Yes.
That ain't to their strength. Their strength is check. Their strength is Hartenstein, and you got to roll with that. You're not going to outdo them at what they do. And so,
agreed.
Yeah, and you know what messed, and this what messed the Knicks up. To your point, as Dot is, you get cross match.
Yeah.
So when you cross match with Indiana, it creates crazy matchup problems. That's why the Knicks couldn't find no pick and rolls when they had Karl Anthony Towns at the 5. It's like they flying down the court now faster than you, and the point guard is 6'7". So now OKC, you playing small, but like you said, Indiana is a bigger team. And so when you running back and you cross match, now that's how they didn't call a timeout. You got Wallace or Haliburton, no Lou Dort, right? And so they are, and credit to Rick Carlisle, because you got to know when to make that sub to kind of throw the game off, to throw it in your favor.
Absolutely.
And they're going to win the small lineup because everybody on their team rebound. Pascal Siakam, he get garbage, dirty, rebounds, putbacks. Haliburton rebounds well from a point guard position. Nesmith, he flying over. He just flying everywhere, right? And so that's the big difference is you can't match up with them in transition and set your defense. And that's how they came back.
That's a great call out. And honestly, that's how they got those threes, because across match, and again, the power of the kick ahead, right? It's like either you got somebody that can get it off the glass and he can push it, and that's where you're coming in. You remember Steve, like every time, get it out of bounds, push. Now you got they scrambling. Now we got to get matched up. Boom, open three, right? Or you got a big trying to run down to get a block. No, you're on a 3-point shooter. You need to stay home. Now Obi Toppin, boom, 3. Miles Turner, 3. So, and I noticed it as well in the beginning. I don't know if you caught it, but OKC did change their lineups to match up.
Yes,
and sometimes there is, you can outsmart yourself trying to match up with the other team instead of making them play your way, right?
Right.
So it's going to be interesting, this chess match, to see what they come back with in the starting lineup.
Go ahead, BD.
No, because I was going to ask y'all a question. My question is, to that point, are the threes hurting you enough where you stick into your big lineup? Did the threes hurt you enough? Because you still, like Dray said, you still got an 8-point lead with 3 minutes to go. So is it really hurting you for you to make that adjustment when this is your bread and butter?
And BD, again, those are the questions that coaches, they can't sleep at night. That's when you go back to the huddle, because it's like, yo, man, like we had a lead. We were right there. What were the errors that we made? Now we can end up we can over-adjust, right? We can over-adjust and start trying to do things that are outside our comfort zone when, really, maybe it was a loose ball. It was a offensive rebound. Look, we got to get this board. We have to win this possession. The ball is gold, right? They were winning the possession game. And then towards the end of the fourth, again, Indiana was making all of the right plays. And then you watch Caruso foul, put Nembhard at the line, right? Up the clock. Little things like that where you have the lead, those are mental errors. And Caruso's a champion. He's a vet. Again, but it's like those are the things that you inch closer. Now you give them a chance to win it at the buzzer when probably shouldn't be in that position anyway.
No, that's a fact. I think when I look at this game, if you're Indiana, you didn't play well at all. I mean, you played pretty bad. You win. This is the best way to win a game one in an NBA Finals, in any playoff series, but especially in NBA Finals, and vice versa. If OKC could have actually hung on, it would have been the best way they could win game one. And here's why. Steve would always tell us this. Steve would always say, "I'm happy we didn't blow that team out, because if you blow that team out, now you got to face added steam." When they come out in game two, they come and naturally you relax a little bit because 100%. You feel like, oh, we good, if you blow that team out.